Morning, Rabbi Isa. I wanted to learn a gewaldige, interesting halacha that I don't think in these very walls we have touched upon this shaila. It's one of the malachas of the Lamatas malachas, but I don't believe, could be even in the old building, we didn't even touch upon this halacha. It's a very interesting halacha, and I'll tell you why. Many of the Lamatas malachas, if you want to learn them, it's very simple. You open up a Shulchan Aruch, you open up a Chelik Gimel and a Mishnah Berurah, and you figure it out. For example, if you want to learn Boire, no, what do you do? Where do you turn to if you want to learn Boire? Shen Yates. No, very good. If you want to learn Chvais Chazara, what do you turn to? Reish Nun Gimel. If you want to learn Chvais Kosher, what do you do? Shin Yitzayin. If you want to learn Chvais Losh, what do you do? Shin Chav Aleph, Schita, Shin Chav Rabbeisa. That's what you do. You open up a Shulchan Aruch Mishnah Berurah and you turn to the Siman that talks about that Shaila, right? The problem is, when you reach this malacha, you reach the malacha that we're about to discuss, there's no siman in Shulchan Aruch. You open up the Shulchan Aruch, got a beautiful table of contents, which was provided to us beautifully to try and figure out where everything is. There's no table of contents that says where this is. So what do we do? Now, let me just give you a couple of the shailas that are nageya. La'aleinu such a ma'isa, Rabbi Yisai. La'aleinu such a ma'isa. I saw this myself on Shabbos Kodesh. La'aleinu, la'aleichem, we should never know such a ma'isa. I saw a yid on Shabbos Kodesh. There was those of you that were the Kiddush here noticed that there was a very nice presentation that was presented to Echad Ma'achoshev Yidden that made a Kiddush on Shabbos. And I had over there these plastic cups. You know, these plastic cups with, like, they fill them with candies, chocolate, sweets, whatever it may be, and they stick them with glue, nuts, whatever, they stick them with glue onto the paper, onto the, the boxes, whatever it is that this presentation comes in. We should never know. There was a yid that took the cup off of the package, and I didn't see anybody say, make a machor, Shabbos! Where is it? What happened? You know what the problem is? I'll tell you the problem. I'll tell you. Oh, we're going to get there. I'll tell you the problem. The problem is sometimes the olim don't know the basic malachas. Rabbi say the malacha of Makeh BePatish is the 38th of the 39 Lamates malachas. But where is it in Shulchan Aruch? Where do we find the siman dealing specifically with Makeh BePatish? You look at Shin Mem, you find it over there. You look at Shin Beis, you find it over there. You look at Shin Yud Zayin, you find it over there. It's all over the place. So in order to know Makeh BePatish, we're talking about some serious shaylas, Rabbi Yisai. We're talking about a shayla. I'll give you a shayla. Rabbi Yisai, la'aleinu la'aleichem, we should never know. Rachmana litzlon. A parent bought a pair of pants, or for those English people out there, trousers for their child. They bought a pair of trousers for their child, a young child. Rachmana litzlon, Rabbi Yisai. And it came, the belt was separate to the pair of trousers to the pants. Rachmana litzlon, la'aleinu la'aleichem, we should never know. The parent took the belt on Shabbos Kodesh and inserted it into the loops of the pair of pants. Rabbi Yisai, have you ever heard anything so gefährlich in your life? But the problem is that we never heard of Makeh BePatish. What's Makeh BePatish? Where is Makeh BePatish? Okay, so this is something that we have to learn. The Gemara Rabba v'Rav Zera the Omer Trayvayu Kol Midi the Isbe Gemar Melocha Chayiv Mishum Makeh BePatish. Anything that is a Gemar Melocha is considered to be Makeh BePatish. By the way, for all the newcomers over here in the Sheh, you should just know. You guys think you've come at 9:40, we're learning Halacha Sheh, learning Halacha Shabbos. We say this every year, but this is Choshev, Rabbi, so I have to repeat it. This is not Halacha Sheh, this is Shalom Bayis. Poshet Shalom Bayis. You guys are going to get married, your wife's going to come, they learn from seminary, they know all the halachas because they learn in seminary. You guys come out of yeshiva and they say, Yankala, can I do this on Shabbos? No. I don't know, I can tell you there's a Tosfos in Zvachim that talks about this Barichas. I don't know what the Meiser is. So now, you realize this, right? You realize, your wife, not only did she marry an Am Ha'oretz, she married the Mechalel Shabbos B'Fahesia. Do you know what that is? You know what this does to your Shalom Bayis? So basically you're coming here to learn Poshet Shalom Bayis. You know what to do. She went to seminary. She figures you go to yeshiva. But now she knows which yeshiva you came from. She'll be like, now you know. In fact, one of the Choshev Bacham told me over Shabbos, maybe a Motzei Shabbos, I don't remember. He said to me, I see that all the second-year boys, the third-year boys, they're very into like halacha, knowing halacha, learning halacha, very into halacha. It's one of the greatest compliments someone can ever give me. That is beautiful, Rabbi. Say, mitzvah Shem by everyone over here, but South of the Shmaya. Okay, Rabbi said, let's go to understand the malacha. This is so nageya. This is so nageya, but again, like I said, the lack of clarity in the sugya is so there that we have to understand and tackle the subject. Let's learn a Tosfos in Shabbos Kuf Beis Amud Aleph. Everyone knows the Tosfos. Tosfos is mazbit to us, even though Be'etzim it's often a Mishnah, it's a Rambam, whatever. But Tosfos in Kuf Beis Amud Aleph in Shabbos is mazbir exactly what is the malacha of Makeh BePatish. What does it mean, Makeh BePatish? So Tosfos explains basically that after, when they finished a specific utensil in the Mishkan, they finished creating it, assembling it, putting it together. What happened is that they had to do what we call the Makeh BePatish, the final hammer blow. That means they had to do something to complete it in Ganze. Now it's ready for usage. That means anything that is ready to be used and that's made usable on Shabbos Kodesh is going to fall within the category of Makeh BePatish. Okay? The Ran, by the way, there's a Modika Ran, Shabbos Nun Beis, where the Ran says that this Malacha of Makeh BePatish is a Modika Chiddush. We'll speak about it in a second. The Chiddush is that it's not a Malacha B'fnei Atzmai. Boire means to separate. And I've got cucumbers and tomatoes and I separate them. Or for example, I build something. This is not a Malacha B'fnei Atzmai, so to speak. But yet it's one of the Lamed Tes Malachas. That's why it's important for a person to realize and understand exactly what's going on. And Rabbi Say, I have to tell you, this is so nageya without people even realizing it. It is so nageya. It talks about all different shilas. When you got pages stuck together, when you got pieces of plastic, cutlery, silverware, forks and knives. I got pieces stuck to it, blowing up balloons, shoelaces. There was unimaginable amount of examples that are nageya to Makeh BePatish that I hope to try get to, because I really believe this is a malacha. Again, like I said, I don't think that since Yeshiva opened we discuss this malacha in the way that we're discussing it right now. So we have a major kasha over here. We have a major kasha. Isn't every malacha Makeh BePatish? I don't understand. I have a kasha. What is boira? Boira means that I have, for example, a mixture of nuts and raisins. I don't like raisins. I cannot eat it because the raisins are there. I can't do it. I need to take the raisins out. Now I can eat the nuts. Gavaldik. So what's boira? That's an Issa D'Oraisa. You find someone like that. You see someone taking out the raisins. He doesn't eat them. It is a mitzvah to throw him off the local cliff. You take him. You push him off. Everybody cheers. We'll make a Yutzeit Seder the next year. It'll be gavaldik. But I'll upon him. That is the halacha of boira. Yosef, are you with me? Pretty standard stuff, right? Yosef's bothered the Mishnah and Sanhedrin says you take him to the second floor. And said, okay, not the cliff. I get it. Okay. Al-Kabonim, we'll get to the details of that a little bit later. Al-Kabonim, that's boira. Isn't that Makeh BePatish? Understand? Shlomi, you with me? Every time I take out the raisins from the nuts because I don't want the raisins, I did boira. Did I not also do Makeh BePatish? It's a good kasha. Anybody had this kasha? Ilan, you had this kasha? No? Who? Moshe had this kasha. It's gavaldik kasha. No, what do? Every malacha. Understand? I build a table on Shabbos Kodesh. I build a shtender, nuchi. I build a shtender. Isn't that Makeh BePatish? Forget boina. Isn't it also Makeh BePatish? It should also be Makeh BePatish, right? So the Ran, La Halacha L'Maisa, which is also, by the way, the Korban Eda on the Yerushalmi, the Minchas Chinuch brings it, Rav Vosner Shevet HaLevi, Chelik Yud also brings it down. He says, Avada, of course there's also Makeh BePatish. According to Shitas Haran, which is also Minchas Chinuch, Korban Eda v'cholei, a person can be over on numerous malachos, of malachos we're talking about. Lamed Tes malachos. You finish the standa, you're over, Makeh BePatish, as well as boina. You do boira, you do bishul. Okay, Rashi in Shabbos talks about bishul being slightly different because it finishes by itself, which is a chakira in the Minchas Chinuch and the Rashash. We're not going to go into that.
Where is already technically ready before?
No, it's not ready. I can't eat it because there are raisins there. I cannot eat it with raisins. I've completed it. I've made it ready for usage by taking the raisins out.
A person who doesn't necessarily like it, he can't eat it?
Yeah, I can't eat it. No, it goes by each person. About that. Boira goes by each person. I guess. Yes, I mamish can't eat it. Tosfos says in Shabbos Ein Gimel, that which I don't want is the psoilis. It's bad. It's bones. It's something that I don't eat.
No, I understand that for butter, but it's not. You're not creating a new...
I'm creating something that's ready to be done. We'll get to the examples. For example, the one of the Gemara tells us that if I have a plate that could be eaten from, but I make a pattern on it, Makeh BePatish. I could have used it before, but it wasn't complete. That's the difference. That's going to answer your kasha. I could have theoretically eaten the nuts with the raisins, but I don't want to.
Butter, I understand, goes per person. Makeh BePatish goes per person?
Possibly yes, depending on the situation. The fish shita saran, maybe yeah. Shmuel, yeah? Good, yeah, that answered it. Is the island with me? The fish shita saran. It's going to come out that a person can be over in 2 malachas. Comes along the Heilige Meiri, and the Meiri says no. The Meiri says it's not shaykh for a person to be over on 2 malachas at the same time. Maybe we'll stop for a second and we'll just put in a little bit of apprentices over here to understand something. There's a moediger of Shimshon Rafal Hush to explain what is the pshat that something is also on Shabbos mitam malacha. And he brings down Shimshon Rafal Hush. It's a beautiful idea. Listen to this. This opens up the sugya of Shabbos Kodesh. Shimshon Rafal Hush says, what is also on Shabbos? Malacha or avoida? Right? Malacha is, you could translate it as work. Avoida, you could also translate it as work. What is the difference lemaisa between malacha and avoida? And you'll notice that the Torah uses always a lashon by Shabbos Kodesh, a lashon of malacha. Why? Says the Shimshon Rafal Hush, this is beautiful. Listen to this. He says malacha comes from a lashon of a malach. Avoida comes from a lashon of eved. Malacha comes from a malach because what is a malach? A malach, an angel, has a specific purpose. He has a reason, a tachlis, why he is in this world. He has to fulfill that tachlis. An eved, a servant, a slave, doesn't have a specific tachlis. He just has to serve his master, whatever his master wants he has to do. There's nothing specific. There's Zuklib Shimshon Rafal Hush. On Shabbos Kodesh, avoida wasn't asa. You could schlep couches from today till tomorrow on Shabbos Kodesh, busy schlepping, schwitzing. You haven't been over on any of the lamates malachos whatsoever, because that's not what's asa. Avoida b'loshen eved, just doing is not asa. What's asa is b'loshen malach, malacha, which means a purpose. Every malacha on Shabbos Kodesh is not just that you did work on Shabbos. That's the mistake that people have who don't understand Shabbos Kodesh. They don't understand Shabbos because they think that it's just about, we're not allowed to work. I remember years ago, I was zocher to take a group of Russian Jews that came from America to Eretz Yisrael, and I was teaching them about Shabbos Kodesh. And it was some of their very first exposures to Shabbos Kodesh. It really was. It was different. I remember one of them says to me, he was in a yeshiva. One of them says to me, before I got on the plane, I made sure to go to McDonald's. I said, why? He said, because I knew you guys are going to brainwash me. There's no way I'm going to leave yeshiva going to McDonald's. I chapped around the last cheeseburger that I could have. And here I am teaching about boira, right? He thinks I'm the most fanatical human being in the world. That you take out a raisin from a pile of nuts and raisins and you kill this guy. Does it make any sense? Just picture the scene, by the way. You have a basin, yeah? You got a whole basin, whole situation. You got death row, right? And you got this guy over there, robbed 16 banks. This guy over there killed 64 people. This guy, you can Shemi Rachim, the list goes on and on of the most gefährliche things that these people did. But that guy took a cucumber from the salad on Shabbos. Kill him first. That's what we got to do. What type of religion is this? The answer is, if you don't understand Shabbos Kodesh, and you don't understand that the smallest detail makes the difference. People ask that kasha. You think God really cares if I take the raisins from the nuts or the nuts from the raisins? Ooh, do it this way. Wow, it makes the difference. God cares. I don't know. That's a wonderful question. I have the same kasha when a guy gets a haircut for 45 minutes and figures out if this hair is a little bit out of place, can you please take that out? It bothers me. It's one strand of hair. What's the difference? Right? Or like the famous mashal of the guy that was sending an email to a very important business deal. It was really, really important, this business deal, right? This was going to make this guy millions. He sends the business deal. He needed to get it in before 4 p.m., the end of the working day. The next morning, he waits for the reply. He's excited to get the answer. Millions of dollars at stake over here. He's excited. This is it. This is going to be great. He calls them up. He said, you didn't reply. What happened to my email? What happened to the business deal? Oh, you didn't reply to us. We gave it to somebody else. What do you mean I didn't reply? I sent you an email. Check again your emails. He checked the email. Everything was right. There was one dot that was missing? Oh, come on, it's only a dot. What's the difference? The answer is when things are important, every detail makes the difference. Shabbos Kodesh is of the most important things to Rabbeinu Shalom. Therefore, every single detail makes a difference. Mzuk the Heilige Meiri. Since it's that we're saying the Lomdus is, and this goes on, we haven't got time to be Meirich, and it's a little bit too early in the morning to discuss this, Lomdus. Zuk the Meiri is Chaylik on the Ran. It's not shaykh for a person to be over on a few malachas together. Why? Listen to the Lomdus of the Meiri, Rabbi Say. Zuk the Meiri. Makeh BePatish, and there's kabarayas from the Gemaras that we're not going into right now. Num Beis but Aleph Ein Sham. But Akoponim Zuk the Meiri. The malacha of Makeh BePatish is only after you finish the malacha. In other words, you put in the fourth leg of the table. The table is now finished. Now it's shaykh Makeh BePatish. But Makeh BePatish isn't as I'm finishing the kli, as I'm doing the boira, as I'm doing the malacha. Zuk the Meiri, Makeh BePatish is only afterwards. Is the oilam with me? I think it's pretty clear. So it comes out according to that any time we make something usable will be a problem. Okay? We've done a nice hakdama today. I'm going to finish, but I'll just leave the oilam with one last akuda, which I think is important. There's a Gemara in Shabbos Mem Chesem and Aleph where the Gemara tells us HaPesach Beis Atzava. What happens? And just to go through it very quickly, if a person takes a piece of cloth, a piece of material, and he opens up a hole in it, like what we have for tzitzis, and he puts it over his head, he makes it the ability to be able to put over his head, so the Gemara in Shabbos Mem Ches Chayiv Chatos. Say the poskim from there, and we'll talk a lot about different examples in a moment, maybe tomorrow we'll get more to it. What happens if, for example, halacha l'maisa, this Rabbi said, this is halacha l'maisa, almost every Shabbos this can happen. You buy a new sefer, a new book, a magazine, whatever it could be, and you open up on Shabbos Kodesh, and the pages are stuck together. That means they were never opened before. Sometimes it happens in the machinery. Pasha, the pages just never got cut. Right? Some of them, whatever it is, a part of it. People do not have this Rabbi Sai. That's a Chiyav D'Oraisa. It's called Chayiv Misa because of Makeh BePatish. He's now made this book, this magazine, this whatever it is, the Sefer. He made it usable on Shabbos. HaPesach Beis Atzava, Shabbos Mem Ches. Memela, that's why it's Asa. We'll talk about it as well. We've got many, many different examples to give in this sugya as well. But for example, a person has a plastic knife. This can happen. It happens all over the place. And that's so for sure you find a plastic knife and they haven't taken off the plastic piece from the part that's sharp, that cuts. Right? So you pull it off because, I need to use the knife. Or the fork, for example, right, between the prongs, I haven't taken it off. So I just pull it out. An innocent act of taking a piece of plastic of a knife. Kill the guys, Chayiv Misa! This is called Makeh BePatish. In Mitzvah Hashem tomorrow, Be'ezras Hashem, we'll go more into the details. Have a wonderful day.